Sorry. So this probably will be a shorter one, just because it's 100 degrees today, and it's kind of hot out here. Probably gonna have to eventually move these back inside because this heat is just something else. Anyway, Tere Joyce is just so full of shit. She'd love to post. For some reason, as a fluke this morning, I decided, hey, Smokey, I decided to just go check her channel out, see what she was up to. I don't know why, because I usually don't. But from the stuff that she had posted, it sounded like she had just gone on Nathan Stoltman's Lift the Veil. And Nathan, hey, Katie, I actually did. Katie, if you're still interested in dog slings, there's a book on the way with the pattern. I'm going to learn how to do dog slings, and I'm going to start making clothes for small dogs. So, yeah, Sherilyn is under the weather, everyone. I'm sorry. Okay. I have this sling thing coming. Thank you to someone. I hate to mention names in here of people who have helped, but I will let you know. Anyway, so Tere Joyce starts talking about how she's gone on Lift the Veil, Nathan Stoltman's Lift the Veil. And so if you go click the link in the description, I was irritated because he was just like, what the fuck ever. Well, Nathan Stoltman then leaves a comment on the post that I did this morning, sending people to my website, and told me that not only has he not interviewed Tere Joyce lately on Lift the Veil, he's never interviewed her, ever. And in fact, doesn't even do it anymore because of the harassment that he's had to be put through. And so when I put this video on my blog, I will put the screenshot of what he said. They'll just lie. They'll just lie about anything and everything. Like people are just too stupid to realize. And they think again that they've like dealt this death blow to me.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole, laughing loud all for the lows. But baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
Not My Rabbit Hole. Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, and good morning. So the clip that you just watched was David Schurter saying on his YouTube channel yesterday that I was never interviewed by Nathan Stoltman on Lift the Veil. I guess he's looked at some of my posts. I'm assuming it's videos shared from tacos, sugar tacos, Colleen Kokar. I shared a few videos on my community page of her sharing clips of my interview with Nathan Stoltman, and I made a few comments about it. If you see in the beginning of the video. Oh, see, Orlando came up here. You want a little Temptations, Orlando? You want a little Temptations? I'm opening up the bag of, Temptations for him. Big boy. Big boy. There you go. All right, so Orlando wanted to be part of the show. Actually, he wanted a Temptations treat. So I give him, right now he's having the seafood medley flavor. Crunch by outside, soft on the inside. Treat for cats, under 2 calories. So, when you give your cat Temptations, he's not getting a whole lot of calories. Because, you want to have a svelte puss, right? Okay. Anyway, it's very interesting that nobody's here. It's like nobody wants to look at this, right? Nobody wants to look at the lies that they are participating in. The LARP that's going on, the lies. And there's one thing that bothers me is, first of all, when you've been on a show and, you're sharing clips from other people on their YouTube channels and making comments about it, showing, I'm going to go farther here, but I won't go there at this moment. But it's knowing like a lot of people, because this interview is on the Internet Archives, that's where I found it and made a copy for myself for it, which I will be doing a Rumble stream and do commentary on that interview, which took place I believe it was in October of 2018. He re-uploaded it to his Internet Archive channel in in November of 2018. So I would say he uploaded to his SoundCloud in November of 2018. Let me be specific, because there's a reason for that. And I'm going to talk about that interview and the ramifications and the fallout and what happened to me, even between Nathan Stoltman and I, during that particular time. So just to get to the point here, I want to show a video that I made last night and uploaded to my YouTube channel. where I did take clips of that interview as proof, as a receipt that that I was actually really on the show. Okay. So I uploaded this last night, fairly late. It really didn't get up, and I didn't really put it onto my channel, I think, until around, I don't know, 9 o'clock almost. It's around 9 o'clock ish that I uploaded this video, and I'm going to do a screen share of it here. So let me screen share it. Okay, so Lift the Veil interview sound bites with Tere Joyce at Lift the Veil on October 2018. So I put the date on it today because, you know, one of the things that David Schurter was saying was, well, you haven't interviewed Tere Joyce recently. Oh, no, not recently. No. But I have had a little bit of communication with Nathan Stoltman on X, as well as he's been in my live streams maybe a couple of times recently since we did make contact on X. He became, I guess, aware of me again. And so anyway, let me play a clip of the interview, and I'll continue later on. But here we go.
Okay, so in other words, Terry has the experience, has been in there, and we're going to talk about the story of how she ended up at this, Hollywood party, where things happen that she's going to describe to you. We in the title. That's what she called it in the title to a video a couple years ago when she told this story for the first time. But she's a comedian. It's the name given to something kind of to take away from the serious of it. I could tell it was actually a little traumatic.
I was beginning to feel that I was the sacrifice, and that whatever was going on around the corner on that wiffle ball court was not going to be a good scenario for me. And another thing that I want to reiterate, make sure everybody hears this, and why I suspect it even more, is when I was leaving, because what I want is that I want a man that is a rebel ex-Bilderberger, because I'm 40 and I need to have a kid. Like, she was just being really weird. It's like, I'm like, okay, that's great, but how does that come into play about us creating a show together?
Okay, so and I'm announcing. I'm announcing that I'm going to be reviewing my own interview with him, because when I did that interview, I was in a certain state of mind. I mean, this was 7 years ago, and quite scared of things that had happened to me and things that were currently happening to me that were associated with players involved in the 17th letter of the alphabet conspiracy early on. And in that interview, and the reason why first of all, I'm not going to show it on YouTube, because just the nature of the interview, I don't think is really YouTube appropriate. That's why I sent out those, I chose those particular clips for my YouTube channel. But I think that pretty much proves that I was actually interviewed by Nathan Stoltman. And so during that time, I sent some things. I talked about a party I went to that I felt very unsafe at. And it was at it was a birthday party for a friend of mine whom I had created a show called American Hemptress. And we were very much activists in the let me see, in the cannabis community. A lot of people know, not everybody knows that follows me on Not My Rabbit Hole. but I have a big, long history of being an activist for medical use, as well as legalization, full legalization. And I worked, I was in West Hollywood at the time, and I was going to city council meetings, and I was doing stand-up comedy shows to raise legal defense funds for growers that were being having court cases and things like this. So I also worked, I served on the board of directors of a nonprofit called Cannabis Saves Lives. And, when I first became part of Revolution Radio, they knew that about me. I was coming from the Time for Hemp channel, and having been on New Dissident Radio doing Hollywood Hemptress Hour, I had been brought into this other arena of other type of content, which dealt with other things like UFOs, etc., and paranormal things, right? That's where I did my interview with Max Spears, which also David Schurter has denied that I even knew Max Spears, when one of the videos that is viewed the most on my YouTube channel is my interview with Max Spears. It is the #1 video on Not My Rabbit Hole. And another person that denied that I knew Max Spears was also Angela Power Disney. And Angela Power Disney also, prides herself as being a journalist. Nathan Stoltman also, prides himself, I think, in being like giving the news. Always, what was his that little caption? It was usually right, always honest, something like that. Well, I like to think that Nathan Stoltman adheres to those principles. But it looks like, and I have gone to the comment. Apparently, the comment is also on davidschurter.com blog, and David Schurter's now done a video, and some of you are just now joining me. So let me just repeat things for the latecomers to the broadcast. So thank you for watching me live. But I'm going to go back a moment. I'm just going to repeat these videos again, just so you can get the full knowledge of like what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that people really understand just exactly what what Nathan Stoltman's response was, and then what the facts are. All right, let's just be really specific about what the facts are on this conversation. So let me just do it again. Let's go.
Sorry. So this probably will be a shorter one, just because it's 100 degrees today, and it's kind of hot out here. Probably going to have to eventually move these back inside because this heat is just something else. Anyway,
Oh, and I didn't mean to call you a latecomer. Forgive me for that. I mean, I realize I'm streaming, and you get a notification, you don't get a notification, people show up, don't show up. But I played this in the very beginning, so I just want to make sure that it's also played in now as well.
Tere Joyce is just so full of shit. She'd love to post. For some reason, as a fluke this morning, I decided, hey, Smokey, I decided to just go check her channel out, see what she was up to. I don't know why, because I usually don't. But from the stuff that she had posted, it sounded like she had just gone on Nathan Stoltman's Lift the Veil. And Nathan, hey Katie, I actually did. Katie, if you're still interested in dog slings, there's a book on the way with the pattern. I'm going to learn how to do dog slings, and I'm going to start making clothes for small dogs. So, yeah, Sherilyn is under the weather, everyone. I'm sorry. Okay. I have this slang thing coming. Thank you to someone. I hate to mention names in here of people who have helped, but I will let you know. I will let you know. Anyway, so Tere Joyce starts talking about how she's gone on Lift the Veil, Nathan Steltman's Lift the Veil. And so if you go click the link in the description, I was irritated because he was just like, what the fuck ever. Well, Nathan Stoltman then leaves a comment on the post that I did this morning, sending people to my website, and told me that not only has he not interviewed Tere Joyce lately on Lift the Veil, he's never interviewed her, ever. And in fact, doesn't even do it anymore because of the harassment that he's had to be put through. And so
I have nothing to do with that harassment at all. Not at all.
I put this video on my blog. I will put the screenshot of what he said. They'll just lie. They'll just lie about anything.
Well, you know what? The only person that's lying or even has a problem, really, that I was on Lift the Veil back in 2018 is David Schurter. Okay? Now he's using this to call me a liar, say that I'm giving credits where I've never, about shows I've appeared on that aren't true. And, being a journalist who has a degree now, hey, I am all about protecting what is true about what I've done. Okay. And so now I'm going to play a clip of me. I uploaded this last night. I took some clips of my interview with Nathan Stoltman and put it up on YouTube. And I made a copy of the entire interview. It was uploaded to SoundCloud in November of 2019. The interview happened on his YouTube channel in October of 2018. And it's now, you can find it in the Internet Archives. I know a lot of you guys out there, Tacos, Colts and Cats has played it on her channel. There's been other people that have used it basically against me for the things that I said on it. And, as a point of humiliation. And now we want to act like I never was on the show. Okay. So let me play it. This is the proof. This is the fact check. Everybody listen up.
Okay. So in other words, Tere has the experience, has been in there, and we're going to talk about the story of how she ended up at this Hollywood party where things happen that she's going to describe to you. We, in the title, that's what she called it in the title to a video a couple years ago when she told this story for the first time. But she's a comedian. It's the name given to something kind of to take away from the serious of it. I could tell it was actually a little traumatic.
I was beginning to feel that I was the sacrifice, and that whatever was going on around the corner on that wiffle ball court was not going to be a good scenario for me. And another thing that I want to reiterate, make sure everybody hears this, and why I suspect it even more, is when I was leaving, because what I want is that I want a man that is a rebel ex Bilderberger, because I'm 40 and I need to have a kid. Like, she was just being really weird. It's like, I'm like, okay, that's great, but how does that come into play about us creating a show together?
Okay, and I'm going to go over this interview again. I listened to it again last night or yesterday when I was, I'm thinking, okay, well, they're talking about like, I was never on this show. I better make my own copy of this as documentation that it's real, that I was on it. And I had trouble finding it. I mean, I know other people playing copies. There was time where I was on SoundCloud. I did a search for it on SoundCloud, and then it gave me the Internet Archives. So I went to the Internet Archives and made a recording of that particular interview. And really, thank you. Yes, I was also I was on. And yeah, I do believe that I'm. You said not only was Tere on the show, Jesus protected her. I believe that. I firmly have my faith in Jesus and the fact that I'm protected because of it, because I have walked away from some very sticky situations. And some of those sticky situations happened after I was on Lift the Veil. I know that I've talked about how I have somebody who has been pretty much cyber stalking me since they saw me on Lift the Veil and tried to contact me in 2018. But I also had somebody contact me after watching me on that show that brought me into a project where I was going to be performing in a right-wing sketch comedy show called Red Pill Nation in Louisiana. And I almost didn't make it home. All right. And that's something that I talked about on American Freedom Radio, but again, I was mentioning names and all this kind of stuff, and we start doing that, you start getting into the legality of stuff, because this was a really awful experience. Again, came from after I was seen on Lift the Veil. All right, so why would this be like, this issue be that important to me? Well, it's important on many different levels. One is now I am a digital journalist. I have gotten my degree. I have been hired as a senior reporter. I'm going to be starting working in August. All right. And I am becoming a professional person in the public domain, not just on my YouTube channel. And I have already published articles with the student newspapers that I wrote for. And now I'm going to be continuing to build a portfolio of work. If you look at, and by the way, thank you for being here at Not My Rabbit Hole. David said, well, I was looking what she was doing on her channel. Well, let's talk about what I've been doing on my channel. I'll go over a view of that, which really doesn't have anything to do with David Schroeder of any of these people. In fact, I'm really trying to, minimize what I say. And if I do say something, it's being done in a very strategic way. Trust me. Like, I'm not interested in the drama LARPs. I could care less what so-and-so is saying about me on their YouTube channel, right? I think that you have miscalculated what my purpose is here at this point. But when it comes to, a person like David Schroeder, who, I don't know, I think that video, it could have been pumped up with, fake views, because that's been happening lately. And I've got a good idea of who's behind that. But it's looking at like, it looks like he's got some clout or listenership to do a certain level of defamation on people. The problem is that when you look at David Schroeder and you listen to David Schroeder, you realize that he is not a credible source. Matter of fact, most of these people, and unfortunately, including Nathan Stoltman, is not really seen as together or legitimate, really. And let's talk about the real world. I'm not talking about what's, a pocket of YouTube that follows things. I'm just being real here. If you like, you have to realize that there are different layers of media and what is considered to be legitimate and not legitimate. And I know that, there are some people that follow this, that they're so twisted that they think that all mainstream media is telling a lie and absolutely controlled, which so far I haven't really found that to be the case. I'm not saying that there isn't a level of control or there isn't certain publications that swing right and left and share propaganda on both channels and or are biased and tell the news through that filter. That's a fact. Now, there are varying degrees of those kind of news publications, but to blanketly say that all journalism outside of the realm of what happens on YouTube is like the fake news, which is, also been propagated by our current president, is, a generalization. It's a dangerous generalization. It is important to be media literate. It's important to have discernment. It's important to even point out, as a journalist, as a content provider on YouTube, it's important to point out what the lie is. And also when someone's lying about you in a way that could be financially detrimental to the well-being of your professional career and your legitimacy. What would be the purpose? And I'm just asking this. And Nathan, I'm if he gets this, I'm streaming. I don't know if he knows that I'm streaming right now, but I certainly welcome him to join my chat and clarify his mistake in making a comment to David Schroeder that I was never interviewed by him. And I realized that a lot of people have a lot of respect for Nathan Stoltman, and they do have a concern about his well-being. I have a concern about his well-being. Even though I have to point out the lie or maybe the forgotten interview. Maybe he forgot, like, Ronald Reagan. Maybe he had a mishap. Maybe he had a Ronald Reagan moment and forgot, I don't remember, that I was interviewed by him. You see, there's more than one thing about lying, about doing it. I mean, what? Did he forget that it was in the Internet Archives? Does he have me confused with the old me? I mean, at the time, we're talking 7 years ago. I think my hair was brown at that time. Was a bit younger. Of course, I'm always changing my hair color, and then there's rumors that I wear a wig. So, what have you. But yeah, I was on that broadcast. I was on that show. I sort of wanted to scrape it under the rug, really. Because I shouldn't have named names on that stream. I said people's full names, and that's not good. You have to weigh in the gravity of saying somebody's name in relation to what you are talking about. And sometimes when you do mention somebody's name, and whatever it is that you are saying is an unfavorable event or thing, sometimes people can attack you for that or find you, or they can, there's a point of retaliation. So you don't want to bring those things to people, even though they may be guilty of something. Although sometimes somebody's a public personality or it is necessary for it. And then you make those particular choices. And a lot of, publications will consider these things. And there's not really particularly a legality to it. Like, you can't get sued for it unless you're talking about somebody and completely lying about them. Like, for example, if I wanted to, if I had the means, if it was worth it, I could sue David Scherter for the lies that he's been saying about me on his channel, including the denial that I was on a show that I was really on. Because all of that is an effort to make me look like I'm the liar, when that is not the case. And I really, even still, and I got to express this because it's the way I feel, and I'm being true to the way I feel. I'm kind of irritated and disappointed that Nathan Stoltman can say those things about me. And in knowing what Nathan Stoltman's been doing, I mean, what David Scherter's been doing to people on his YouTube channel. And I thought it was really interesting that Nathan Stoltman had a stream a couple months ago with Jesse Davis from Sewertown and Corey Daniel, who has his own thing and channel, but he's got a narrative in all of this. And maybe a few other people that I was recognizing, and they were calling out David Scherter on Nathan Stoltman's stream. And then Nathan Stoltman got up and left the stream and let them go on. And they were calling David Scherter out to come on the show and talk about how he's been lying about them. Well, guess what, Nathan? He's been doing the same thing to me, and almost just, I would say, worse in some respect than what Jesse or Sewertown. And I can't say it's worse than Corey Daniel, but throughout the year, and really throughout, again, the last few months, it has been absolutely unbelievable, horrific, with the accusations and the energy behind what he said is just not even acceptable in any way. And yet, it seems to me that Nathan Stoltman wants to put his victimhood in a line with David Scherter's victimhood. And then now somehow I look like I'm the bad guy here in the equation. And I find all of this to be, first of all, it's inconsistent. It goes back and forth. One day, like one thing will be said, and the next day something different will be said. The inconsistency of the information and the take of what you think is real and not real is highly questionable. He contradicts himself. A lot of them contradict themselves. in what they do and what they say. And I realize that we can have a big conversation about how both people suffer from emotional and psychological certified issues where David is on disability because of it, and Nathan Stoltman is seeking disability because of it, as he said on his several times on his YouTube channel. So how do you get upset really in the end? Or, there's a judgment of being upset by people that are not mentally okay. So therefore, unfortunately, somehow they get a little bit off the hook for their behavior in the minds of people and the way you speak about it. But I have to take care of myself as well. And I am here. My goal is to speak what the facts are and what really happened. And especially when it comes to me. For the most part, I kind of sit back. I might make a post or two. I might make an X post. I might write an article about a situation that I think is happening. And a lot of this is like, who cares what Blazing Scar says on her channel about me? Nobody cares, really. Like, it's amazing to me that Sophia Music can, post all these things in defense of these people that have issues with me on his Sophia Music page, including David Schurter or All Seeing You or whoever. But what makes him think that he's actually considered a credible source? Like I wrote today, like getting an endorsement from Thomas Schoenberger is like getting an endorsement from Joseph Goebbels. Like, where in your head do you think because you said it, your opinion is the truth of anything? Because it isn't, Sophia Music. That's my opinion. Okay? So let's take a look at my Facebook page and like what maybe David Schurter decided to take a look at yesterday. So this is me sharing my thing here. That's my comment about Thomas this morning. Oh yeah, Thomas did talking, dueling sock puppet accounts, and David Schurter, pretending to be Doug Mesner, complimenting how great his video was, and then the first, screenshot has him hearting it, and I agree and agreeing with this account, and then I pointed it out that he was, talking to, a fake Lucian Greaves account, which which David Schurter had to get all up into it and talk about that on his channel, and then go, oh, and she's with Thomas because of this. But I wrote, there is no evidence of a dedicated YouTube channel. I did an AI search. I says, does Doug Mesner have a YouTube channel? No, also known as Lucian Greaves, right? See? There is no evidence of a dedicated YouTube channel for Doug Mesner, also known as Lucian Greaves. However, there are numerous YouTube videos featuring him relating to the Satanic Temple, including interview videos like Satanic Temple Founder Talks a Theistic Religion, a video titled Lucian Grieves the Satanic Temple and the Law, shows him speaking about the organization and its legal ethics, and it goes on. And then I shared this. Sorry to burst your bubble, David Schroeder. Nathan Stoltman interviewed me at Lift the Veil Live back in October of 2018. Perhaps Stoltman forgot we did a show together when he denied that I was a guest on LTV in a comment on your YouTube community page. I know he's not been well. Okay. This one. Carrie Wolf, also known as the All Seeing You, took Thackeray's YouTube channel and she used one of the photos in her June 2022-2025 video. A ChatGPT and Google image search indicate that the only online source of the picture of Thackeray is the All Seeing You YouTube channel. Read more here. Okay, so that was an update that I did on my Substack, and in that video you will see, because, well, you know what, let's play that a little bit. Let's play that video just for the hell of it. Okay, let's play it. So you can read about that.
Well, this is Dr. Grande. Today's
article on my Substack, which, you know what, I'm going to bring it up and put it in the chat if you'd like to read that article. Let me bring it. Mm-hmm. Okay. There you go. You can see it there. Okay, and then wait, let me keep sharing this. I'm making a point about, David Schroeder said he was looking at my, channel. Let's see what's on my channel. All right. This is my YouTube community post, which is mainly what people in this group kind of pay attention to. Oh, I did a Super Soldier Sunday stream. Has nothing to do with David Schroeder or anybody in this about this at all. Doing my channel, right? So that's my content, David. Okay. Let me see. A song I created, Montauk Super Soldier Talk, rapping like Benjamin Fulford. All right, I'm gonna play this. This is fun. I kind of like this one better. A lot of people seem to like the other one better, but I did this for the Super Soldier Talk show.
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drowning your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen. Create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sense. Super soldier talks in prison. Nordic and Draco, shape-shifting in my Winnebago. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word.
Okay, so while you guys have been, going on about this stuff, about me and everything and your videos and whatever, I've been writing Substack articles and creating songs, doing live streams that have nothing to do with any of this. Here's another song. Why not, right? I mean, I used AI. I wrote the lyrics. You put in your genre. This spits out. It's now it's on. I've got my own AI little channel, and I can play whatever my original music I want on any of my content. So I'm loving it.
Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The Society Road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Montauk's in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam.
Okay, so yeah, that was that. That's fun. You know what? I want to address some, Ruby and Ben in the chat. Ben said it was his favorite. Rui Writer's Guide played down the link. They shouldn't. Let me see. And then Ben says, Rui, no such things should happen to small authors and artists. A lady at my creative writing group had her story adapted without rights. Oh, that happens. People steal your ideas. That's why you have to, if you're working on a script or stories or whatever, you got to be careful about your ideas. You got to be careful about what you say about anything you do, really, I think, in many respects. I've made that mistake. Oh my God. I was I bleeped my own self out of the stream. I am so sorry. I just realized that. Okay, so let me go back to what I got to go back and show what I missed showing you. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, because I said something that you need to hear. I was looking at my YouTube community page. All right. And I was showing things, right? And I was scrolling around and talking and blah, 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 blah. And then the main thing you need to know, because David Schurter said that he was, going over my channel and, seeing what I was doing and then saying that I was on Lift the Veil. But let me scroll through here again. Okay. And, did those songs, did this, go down to here. I'm just going to move as fast as I can. Oh, I was talking about how I was really happy with that. My demographics on my channel are kind of over across the board in ages. That's not easy to do. This is the post of Thomas Schoenberger, Doug Mesner, powerful work digging into the history of the NO, birth of jazz. You nailed it. So, and then I showed you that Doug Mesner, doesn't have a YouTube account according to AI Overview. Now, here's where I want to get to. Now, these are posts by YouTube Love Story, and I posted 3 of her posts, and she clipped interviews with my interview with Lift the Veil. All right. She had clips of the interview on her channel 3 days ago until I posted this. And then she decided to close those off. So I said, I talked about this on Lift the Veil. And I did. And what's interesting in that clip was I was talking about a guy named Kai Conspiracy, who was a big 17th letter of the alphabet advocate, big guy, who was also involved with the Bundy people originally, who ended up was in charge of the Hollywood PEDO march that I live streamed. Okay. And he was in a big feud with Stephen D. Kelly because Stephen D. Kelly created the first 17th letter of the alphabet group on Facebook. And he had over 23,000, people in the group. It was a big group. Stephen ended up becoming the center of that map that everybody knows on the Getty stuff. Okay. So we're going back to 2018 here. And I'm talking about this, and I'm talking about this Kai Conspiracy guy, who's now a predator catcher, by the way. You see how they kind of evolve? And I got in the middle of Stephen and his feud because I live streamed his march, unbeknownst to me, that the march was associated with that organization. Okay. And I'm talking about that on this interview with Nathan Stoltman. Okay. And I forgot, because I haven't listened to that interview in a really long time, that I mentioned those things. All right. I forgot, but I did. And I'm glad I did the interview because it prompted me into it again. It made me remember it again. Then here, which I thought was really interesting, is there was another clip where I was talking about a Patrick, but she clicked it where you didn't hear the last name that I said, which I felt that she was trying to make it look like possibly she was doing framing or misrepresenting material, basically, to make it sound like I was talking about the Patrick from Nasty Troll Media when I wasn't. I didn't know him then. He, by the way, first contacted me on Instagram, then contacted me in December of 2018, and his opening introduction to me was that he saw me on Lift the Veil with Nathan Stoltman. Okay? It's just so I had a major issue with this person, and they have doxed my address with Sophia Music in the last 5 months. And he's been on me since he saw him lift the veil. And Nathan knows this because I tagged him in videos that I did about it on X, and he has shared that information on his X account. So again, I really, find it, I don't, like he pulled the Ronald Reagan and said, I don't remember. He didn't even say that. He flat out said, I never did a show with him. When I did, and when Tacos, Colts, and Cats, or on her YouTube Love Story channel, clipped it and was visible 3 days ago until I shared it on my YouTube community page, clarifying that it wasn't Nasty Troll Media Patrick. The Patrick that I'm mentioning in my interview with Nathan Stolman is a cannabis activist, Patrick Moore, who served as the board of directors for Roger Stone's United States Cannabis Coalition back in 2018. And now she puts it on private. And then David Schurter comes on, makes a big deal about it, posts about it. Nathan Stolman responds like, I was never on a show. Discrediting what really happened. Dissing what really happened. I suppose facts don't matter, right? Okay, and again, I know the excuse is they're not well. Despite that, I think it's important for me to point out, in terms of my reputation and who I am and what I stand for and the body of work I've done, I've got to say something about it, regardless of how they might be compromised mentally. And might I add one more thing, since I'm there right now and it's in my thoughts. I think it's important to say it. After I did a gig in Louisiana by somebody who found me on his channel that I feel I was really damn lucky to make it home from. And after having everything happen from an individual that also found me on his channel, and I also made aware of it, that's sort of dramatic, really. Like, where is the, responsibility as a host, or the concern as a host of the well-being of their guests after they've been on their show? I'm just wondering, where is that responsibility? Because I think there is a responsibility to that. But Nathan told his audience and discredited me and said what I said on that show wasn't true. So I'm wondering, what part of it isn't true? Is it the party that I went to? Or is it what happened with me with people that are involved politically with people like Roger Stone or National Cannabis Coalition or 17th letter of the alphabet provocateurs. Like, what was it? Was that the part that wasn't supposed to be the truth? I mean, I'm just curious. But David Schurter, who is clearly lying and, saying foul crimes against innocent people, but David Schurter, he upholds as being legitimate. Explain that to me, okay? Because that aspect of it, I'm not impressed with. And I will say it, and I will call it out, just like I did right now. Okay, yeah, I agree. I wish I could, I think there's a way to edit something out in post. But I don't know. Yeah. I lost 5 minutes. Oh well. So I also pulled up the SPF code of ethics in journalism that I've learned. And you know what? If you're gonna be serious about what you're saying on your YouTube channel or claim that you're some sort of journalist when you're just, a person with a YouTube channel and a $20 a month blog. David acts like his blog costs that much money. Well, you know what? If it costs you so much money that you got to be grifting for it, maybe you should look for a different company because there's cheaper places and ways to host a blog. David Schurter. In fact, okay, so let's look at the SPF Code of Ethics. And I won't go through all of it, but we're going to go through some of it. Let's get educated. Preamble. Members of the Society of Professional Journalists believe that public enlightenment is the forerunner of justice and the foundation of democracy. Ethical journalism arrives to ensure the free exchange of information that is accurate, fair, and thorough. An ethical journalist acts with integrity. The Society declares these 4 principles as the foundation of ethical journalism and encourages their use in the practice by all people in all media. Seek truth and report it. Ethical journalism should be accurate and fair. Journalists should be honest and courageous in gathering, reporting, and interpreting information. Journalists should take responsibility for the accuracy of their work, verify information before releasing it, use original sources whenever possible. Remember that neither speed nor format excuses inaccuracy. Provide context. Take special care not to misrepresent or oversimplify in promoting, previewing, or summarizing a story. Excuse me. Gather, update, and correct information throughout the life of a news story. Be cautious when making promises, but keep the promises they make. Identify sources clearly. The public is entitled to as much information as possible to judge the reliability and motivations of sources. Consider sources' motives before promising anonymity. Reserve anonymity for sources who may face danger, attribution to other harm, and have information that cannot be obtained elsewhere. Explain why anonymity was granted. Diligently seek subjects of news coverage to allow them to respond to criticism or allegations of wrongdoing. Avoid undercover or other surreptitious methods of gathering information unless traditional open methods will not yield information vital to the public. Be vigilant and courageous about holding those with power accountable. Give voice to the voiceless. Support the open and civil exchange of views, even views they find repugnant. Recognize a special obligation to serve as watchdogs over public affairs and government. Seek to ensure that the public's business is conducted in the open and that public records are open to all. Provide access to material when it is relevant and appropriate. Boldly tell the story of the diversity and magnitude of the human experience. Seek sources whose voices we seldom hear. Avoid stereotyping. Journalists should examine the ways their values and experience may shape their reporting. Label advocacy and commentary. Never deliberately distort facts or content, including visual information. Clearly label illustrations and reenactments. Never plagiarize, always attribute. Minimize harm. Ethical journalism treats sources, subjects, colleagues, and members of the public as human beings deserving of respect. Journalists should balance the public's need for information against potential harm or discomfort. Pursuit of the news is not a license for arrogance or undue intrusiveness. Show compassion for those who may be affected by news coverage. Use heightened sensitivity when dealing with juveniles, victims of sex crimes, or sources of subjects who are inexperienced or unable to give consent. Consider cultural differences in approach and treatment. Recognize that legal access to information differs from an ethical justification to publish or broadcast. Realize that private people have a greater right to control information about themselves than public figures and others who seek power, influence, or attention. Weigh the consequences of publishing and broadcasting personal information. Avoid pandering to lurid curiosity, even if others do. Balance a suspect's right to a fair trial with the public's right to know. Consider the implications of identifying criminal suspects before they face legal charges. Consider the long-term implications of the extended reach and permanence of publication. Provide updated and more complete information as appropriate. Act independently. The highest and primary obligation of ethical journalism is to serve the public. Journalists should avoid conflicts of interest, real or perceived, disclose unavoidable conflicts, refuse gifts, favors, fees, fee travel, and special treatment, and avoid political and other outside activities that may compromise integrity or impartiality or may damage credibility. Be wary of sources offering information for favors or money. Do not pay for access to news. Identify content provided by outside sources, whether paid or not. Deny favored treatment to advertisers, donors, or any other special interests, and resist internal and external pressure to influence coverage. Distinguish news from advertising and shun hybrids that blur the lines between the two. Prominently label sponsored content. Be accountable and transparent. Ethical journalism means that taking responsibility for one's work and explaining one's decisions to the public. Journalists should explain ethical choices and processes to audiences, encourage a civil dialogue with the public about journalistic practices, coverage, and news content, respond quickly to questions about accuracy, clarity, and fairness, acknowledge mistakes and correct them promptly and prominently, and explain corrections and clarifications carefully and clearly. And that's the one that I think Nathan Stoltman, and again, the SPF guidelines are a guideline. This is not, you don't get penalized, you don't get, whatever, there's no punishment if you break one of these guidelines. Let's face it, journalists do it all the time. But this is what we should strive for on the internet. And especially if we're going to be talking about things that are dealing with esoteric, religious, paranormal, UFO, conspiracy, whatever, you already have a label on you of not being credible. So why don't we clean up our act? If you really got some information or a belief out there, do it in a way that has some integrity and transparency to it. No, I realized before I went to college that I may have broken some of these things in my naivety of what was happening on YouTube. And if I've done that, I apologize. I'm a work in progress, just as you are. But this is where I'm at now. All right, so one more time on that one part. Acknowledge mistakes and correct them promptly and prominently. Explain corrections and clarifications carefully and clearly. Nathan Stoltman. Personally, I think you should make some sort of announcement that I was on your show, Nathan, and correct what the lie that David Schurter has spread on his channel, YouTube video, and his blog. That's what I think you should do. That would be the right thing to do. Abide by the same high standards they expect of others. Okay? So, how do you feel about that? I just read the SPF Code of Ethics to everybody. And one more time, before I go, thank you so much for being here this morning. I wish you a great and productive day. But here, Ben's here, right? The BBC needs to read this. You can down the recording and reshoot the bit you missed, insert and re-upload. Okay. Many people might break the guidelines about meaning any harm. It's the deliberate liars I resent. Yes! Right? Exactly. And you know what? The deliberate liars, they can be sued upon. They can. Oh, thanks for being here, Ben. I who knows how long I would have talked. Going on and on and on and on. And you know what? Speaking of Ben, before I close out on the. I want to show you what I've been doing on my channel that that has nothing to do with this, and I've really appreciated the people that have tuned in on these shows. Some of them did well. They got good numbers, and I'm covering topics that I used to cover in the past, and so it's nice to see some of you return. We've got a long history with each other, so I did some shows, Contact in the Desert with Ben, and I wanted to show the opening of this because hi, I am. Oh no, that's the first one. I don't want that one. I want the one where we see the peacock, because Ben visited me after Contact in the Desert. I edited these videos, and we did a live stream that got healthy numbers while he was here at my apartment. And here it is. So I'm gonna share a little bit of this. This is what I've been creating on my. This is some of the stuff I've been creating on my channel.
Well, this is a place that neither of us have been to before. So
right.
Even though Terry lives much closer, she's never been here yet. So
right.
So
yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. Shinzen.
It's a Japanese style garden through that gate there. So.
It's a friendship garden.
Very nice, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go in.
So I just wanted to capture some.
Whoa, look at the koi in there.
Yeah.
It's like the Hecklefish's big brother. Lizard people. Look at them, man. They're massive.
Oh wow.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like almost coming over here.
They're a load of these koi. Oh, it's a Hecklefish's big brother.
Lizard people.
Yeah, nice. There's a lovely little pond here in the bridge there.
Oh! Yeah, he did. He sure did. He wants to be filmed, I guess. Show off. Wow. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Cute. I think these are juvenile geese.
That's a peacock. Oh my god. Let me get
The only
closer.
draws attention back when they're looking at these Tony Goslings. Tony Gosling.
I wonder how close I can
Off the
get.
stage, no. That's a nice when they're looking.
Wow.
Yeah, very small. Very handsomely nose at him. He's coming towards us. He likes to be admired.
Wow. I wonder if he'll open his
He's not going to spread his feathers out for us, but
amazing.
He knows his big boss. He knows people. Look at him doing a twirl. Whoa.
Oh.
It's going past. It's weird. Those shapes in the feathers look really weird when he does that. When he shakes them. It's like an optical illusion.
Hi, Angela. I'm just finishing up with this footage here, just to show people what I've really been doing on my channel. It's the new eye rabbit hole. No, I love this footage so much. I just think it's so beautiful.
Beautiful, eh?
Wow. Magnificent. Wow.
Well, that's. No sensitivity in there.
Oh, be careful if you're driving to work, Angela. Yeah.
This is just truly beautiful.
And I think you've seen this before. I
Really?
would show this at the very end, but if you get a chance, go back and look at the video. Apparently, David Schroeder is saying that I was never interviewed on Lift the Veil. And, then I guess, well, I don't guess. Nathan Stoltman has said that I was never interviewed, which I was, and I found the interview in the Internet Archives. It had been uploaded to SoundCloud, and I made a copy of it, and I showed the receipt that I was on his show. And and I'm basically asking Nathan Stoltman to publicly correct himself, because I read the SBF Code of Ethics. But that's the journalism ethic anyway. And if you made a mistake, the ethical thing to do would be to correct it promptly. And on that note, I want to thank everybody who came in. Ben, Rui, Angela, always good to see you here. And have a great day at work. I got to get to work on some other things. If you want to follow me on any other platforms, all of my links are listed in the bio of my channel. If you'd like to buy me coffee.com, send me a birthday present, a support of the show, you can always do that by a super chat or a thank you, or any of these links that I'm going to display on the screen. There you go. And if you can't donate, then if you could just give my videos a thumbs up and a like and a share, if you see so fit, it would be greatly appreciated. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye.
On the stripper's pole, laughing loud all for the love, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game. game, sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.